Okay, so I've taken the pattern and I've folded it in half, and I flipped the fish skin, the salmon skin over, and I want the dark side to appear on the front. So I'm matching the fold on the far edge of the skin here, and I'm going to use pencil to mark where I'm going to cut this out. Now you won't be able to see this on camera, and to be honest with you, I can kind of barely see it in real life here. So I'm using a drafting pencil, so that might have something to do with it. So I'm gonna press a little bit harder to get more of a darker line, so I can see what I'm cutting to get the right size, because this part's really important. All right, that worked. That helped. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors here and bite the bullet and go ahead and just cut. And I'm going to cut and then this line here. There we go. And I usually save my scraps for smaller projects or something else that may come up. Alright, so then what we have here is the ability to lay this down on the pattern and make sure that things are going to align properly. Okay. And oftentimes, once you have one good pattern, you can use this pattern to trace out more. Now I want to see if I can get a decent amount here. And I could, and I would be able to, if I didn't have this hole. And I'm wondering if because I don't want to use this other piece of skin just because I want to save it. But then the other thing is that the colors are slightly different. So I want to make sure that the color matching is seamless. So I think because we have this little extra here, I may do some finagling and kind of cover up this hole that happened, or at least, you know, make an attempt to patch in the hole a little bit. It should be fine, and that also adds to the rustic feel of this piece here. So yeah, I'm trying to match this fairly decently. And again, in this case, it's going to be dark edge to dark edge. And I'm going to make sure I'm within the bounds. And then I'm going to trace that out, make sure I'm using nice dark lines so I can see what I'm cutting. So that's good enough. And we have this hole right here. So what I'm going to do is before I cut this out, I want to patch the hole. And I'm going to use this extra piece here. And I'm going to just glue it. I'm going to glue it down. And I could use hide glue, but I'm going to cheat. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some super glue. I'm going to hide glue the rest of this, but I want this to be permanent and I want it to bond right away. Hide glue takes a while. Alright, so I've got this glued down. And then all I have to do is just kind of cut away the excess. Like so. Make sure the hole is covered up. Again, it's kind of an important lesson on keeping your scraps within reason. I usually keep scraps about this big and larger. Stuff like this I don't really keep around, obviously, but you know, it can help patch up mistakes, or you can sew in extra space if you misalign something. So that's what will help here. So now we've already got this marked in, and I can take my scissors and continue our process of cutting out the skin for the handle, like so. So there we go. So essentially what I want to do with this, my intention is I want the two light ends to be seamless together like this, and then the front ends will come together so they're dark. Okay, so that's the intention. That's why we went through all that, patched up the hole and everything, and then we're gonna cover this, or I'm gonna cut this piece out, and we're going to put some glue on it, and then we're going to stick these on there. So now I'm cutting out the buckskin. Piece of leather would work, canvas would work, you know, burlap would work, you know. So I'm just using buckskin because I want to try to keep things rustic and consistent on that end of things. And it's nice and soft, and you can grip it pretty well. Just that, and then cool. All right, and FYI, if you've been following this self-bow making process, the scraps of the buckskin and the scraps of the unusable scraps of the buckskin and the rawhide is what you would hold on to and boil down to make more hide glue, as a side note. So we'll take this here, and then we're going to lay this down here like this. Make sure the edges meet, and then make sure the edges meet. I don't mind if this overlaps a little. Alright, so I think this is going to work for us, and this will kind of end up looking like a pretty cool handle or accoutrement to the bow. So, and we can clean up from there. Alright, so we have our buckskin square cut out for the handle, for the grip. We have our pieces of salmon skin cut out, and they look like they will match together pretty well. Let's just make sure that the pattern, the scale pattern, goes the same direction. It's like matching wallpaper, which is kind of a trick and an art to itself. Alright, that seems to be alright. And we have our hide glue kind of watered down a bit, so it's easier to spread. And I just don't need very much, I just need a light coat. I just want to kind of spread this on. Make sure to get the edges. So we got that spread on. Now we're going to carefully lay the edges down onto our square, like so. It's already tacky a bit, so that's good. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I really want the edges to match. And then it overlaps a little bit in the middle, and we'll fix that. But the main thing is that the whole thing is covered by the not snake, but the salmon skin. And you could obviously do this with snake if you wanted to. So this is what we're working with. And so what I may do is apply, I can fold these over and then I can cut off the excess, but I need to work on a piece of news or paper that is not got glue on it. I can fold this up like so, and I can cut off the excess with my scissors so that there's a nice seamlessness going on. It's going to be a little bit better than when we did the hide backing, but we want the seamlessness.